Hello everyone, in this video I'll explain my time series forecasting assignment. The goal was to build a forecasting pipeline from scratch and understand how sequence models process temporal data. Firstly, I have done some inputs like I have imported libraries NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, PyTorch and sklearn. Then the parameters are derived from my roll number. Window size is 10. It means that the model uses 10 values, last 10 values. Prediction horizon is 2, meaning it predicts the next 2 future values. Hidden size is 14, which controls the model capacity. Now let's move to the windowing function. I converted the time series data into supervised learning format using a sliding window. For example, for each sample, the input consists of 10 past values and the output consists of 2 next values. This step is important because neural networks require input-output pairs instead of raw sequence. On moving to the models, I have implemented multiple models like MLP, Custom GRU, LSTM and Transformer. First, I created a function to generate sequences using a sliding window. Now I am explaining the implementation of my whole assignment. Firstly, I have created a function to generate sequences using a sliding window approach. Then I split the data into training and testing sets using a chronological splitting to preserve time order. After that, I converted the data into tensors and ensured the correct shape, which is batch size, sequence length, and input dimension. For the custom GRU, I implemented it manually without using built-in GRU layers. I defined three main components: the update gate, the reset gate, and the candidate hidden state. At each step, the model takes the current input and the previous hidden state. The update gate decides how much past information to keep, and the reset gate decides how much past information to forget. Then the hidden state is updated using these values. The sequence is processed step by step in a loop. Finally, the hidden state is passed through a linear layer to generalize the prediction. For comparison, I also implemented an MLP model which flattens the input and does not consider sequences order. Additionally, I used LSTM and transformer models for comparison. For training, I used mean square error as the loss function and Adam optimizer. In the datasets, I have used two datasets: stock price data and the temperature data. From the graphs, it can be seen that the stock data shows a clear upward trend with some fluctuations. On the other hand, the temperature data is more noisy and irregular with frequent ups and downs. On moving to the results, for stock data, the MLP performed best with lowest error. GRU and transformer also performed reasonably well, while LSTM had higher error rate. This indicates that the overall trend in stock data was easier to learn even for simpler models. On moving to the temperature data, for temperature data, all models had similar performance with slightly higher error rates. This is because the dataset is more noisy and does not have a strong consistent pattern. Now moving to the ablation study. In ablation study, I performed ablation study by changing the window size. I observed that the window size 20 performed the best while window size 10 performed worst. This shows that a larger window size provided better context, while smaller or medium window size were less effective. In the failure analysis, the model struggles in regions where there are sudden spikes or irregular changes. This happens because the model relies on the past patterns and cannot handle abrupt variations effectively. In conclusion, this assignment helped me understand how sequence models work internally and how model performance depends on the nature of the dataset. Thanks.